Consider this your trigger warning. The following program is strictly satire and is not meant to be taken seriously. So don't get all butthurt, you liberal snowflakes, just because we skewer your sacred cows and expose all your lies and hypocrisy. Truth hurts, and so does satire. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.
All right, everyone. Guess what time it is? It is Sunday Night Live, and that means we're at the zoo. We've got you on YouTube. We've got you on subscribestar.com. We got you on X, and we've got you on the preparedmind.club, not to mention all the other social medias we'll end up on. Welcome back, folks. We got one hell of a show, and we got one hell of a week coming up. The threats of violence are real. Are you prepared? The acts of violence are happening. Are you prepared? Do you see what is coming? You should, because we cover it every single day, except for Saturday. But here it is, folks. You're going to love this. I'm going to put this up, kind of a preemptive show starter, but I'll do a couple of my things, but it is your show. It is the zoo, which means we're all here live together. And if you've got something to say, super chat buttons right up there, or PayPal, Venmo, Cash App down in the video description. I want your guys' topics to be the topics du jour on the board, on the screen. We'll make you famous, and you are going to do something, folks, that you didn't even know you were doing. You guys are so awesome. You have no idea how powerful you are. I've tried explaining it. I'm just John. You guys are immensely powerful. You'll be on this program somewhere between 400 and 600 people live. By the end of the show, it'll be well over 1,000. By the end of the next couple of days, it'll be thousands and thousands, because we're not just on YouTube. We are going to be all over the place. BitChute, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere, folks, everywhere. Now, understand, the time is coming when conservatives, the political right, the patriots, the hardcore pro-America veterans are going to be violent. But it's not yet. No. We are not the violent starters, but I'm going to give you, it's a not yet, though. Here is the incredible horse shit I want to share with you. CNN has an extremism expert. And this jackass on CNN claims that all the extremism is on the right. The left are a bunch of innocent sheep. All the extremism is on the right. There is no, and this is the claim, no equivalent on the left at this time. There's no equivalent, huh? All right, we've got Jolene in the background as a moderator. We have Ooman in the background as a moderator. And we've got all of you. So CNN has an expert. When was the last time we were told to trust the science? You're not an expert. You can't talk about elections or medicine. You can't talk about, anything. You're not an expert. But when an expert claims that all the extremism is on the right, there's no equivalent on the left, is this person an expert or a piece of shit partisan? Yeah, it's the latter. Pieces of shit partisans. All right, folks. Now, if you want your question on here, you want to get on the board, you're more than welcome to it. You see, what's important about Sunday Night Live and every show, but especially Sunday Night Live, is this is your show. There are rules for the show, but it's your show nonetheless. You can set the tempo, you can set the pace, and you can pick the topics. And if you do $50 or more, well, that's a bonus for me. $50 or more is a 15-year single malt Scotch whiskey. And I get to have a whiskey while talking to you guys. This tunes me up. Oh, boy. Always smelling so good. So good, so good. We're going to start that today with Chin Music. It's going to start us out with a $52.23 super chat donation, I believe. And the Zooman, do you have his comment ready? The question? All righty, let's roll that beautiful bean footage. Hey, this is for me, from you, and to you, Chin. And all Semper Fi means always faithful. God bless America. And got some fuzz there. Down the hatch, salut, and Prost. There it is. All right. That was a $52.23 Venmo from Chin Music. And he gives us some philosophy today. Every day sends future to the past. Every breath leaves me one less to my last. Make it count, motherfuckers. And he says, share that. And this is quite fascinating. You guys know I talk with the R Syndicate and Chin and many of you behind the scenes when I've got time. A lot of times I don't have any time, or I get phone calls when I'm out asleep or whatever. Anyways, the point is I had this conversation with a friend the other day that goes along the same lines as this. I've only got one today. Today is April 13th, 2025. 45 years ago, I realized when it turned from 1970 to 1980, I was like, hey, just a kid turning 10 years old. I was like, hey, I'm only going to have this year. When this year's gone, I'll never get it back. And as I've gotten older, I've realized that every day is the one day I live in. This day, right here, right now. And when this day is gone, it's gone forever. Right? The future becomes the present becomes the past. And it's over. I've got one day to make today good. That's it. And tomorrow is another day. So I keep putting my agenda out in front of me. Every day I go after my agenda, which is to wake people up, get them prepared, and help save this country from the people I hate the most. The people I hate the most. Fucking Democrats. Every breath leaves me one less to my last. At some point, I die. Whether it's tomorrow, the day after, a year from now, 10 years, it doesn't matter. I've lived a good life, but I'm going to live every day like it is my last. Not stupidly, not like a moron, but like it matters, because every day does matter. Unlike Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino, everyone's like, give it some time. Yeah, we're getting to it. But no. Do it as if today was your last day. That's how you're supposed to live fucking life, right? Not party now, for tomorrow we perish. I know that saying. But do today what you should be getting done. And if you get it all done and you're successful, well, hell, then you can have a fucking party, right? But these CNN experts, folks, right? Yeah, there's all the extremism is on the right. What a fucking loser. And CNN, folks, losers. They are going to keep promoting left-wing innocence. They're going to keep promoting left-wing innocence until they get out of hand. They're fucking liars. They're fucking hypocrites. And they are all going to get theirs when the right is pushed into a corner and pushed too far. Seriously. They're going to get pushed too far. All of us. We're going to be threatened. The violence is here. Right? The Muslims, the Jihad Joes, right, from all different countries around the world are here in America trying to set up their own cities, Sharia law. It should all be outlawed. Sharia law should be outlawed, and Islam is a fake religion. It's not a religion. It's a cult of death. We have a shitstorm coming from them, the Palestinian crowd, the Antifa crowd, the BLM crowd, the George Soros, non-government organizations. And the beautiful thing about this is Trump and Doge found that USAID money in the billions and even trillions of dollars has been getting pumped out, sent to other countries to do, an Islamic Sesame Street, promoting a fucking trans drag queen story hour in Colombia, as well as sponsoring and paying for terrorism in our own country. And of course, those same non-government organizations using illegal funnels like Act Blue and other methods to funnel money back into the campaign coffers of the Democrats. Anyways, Chin Music, every day our future becomes the present, becomes the past. And every day that passes, we get closer to our very last breath. When I die, I will know I have made a huge difference. I hope that everyone else can say the same thing. Same thing. Jolene, let's do this. How about we do a super chat out of the crowd? And we got a $5 PayPal from Augie. And he says, just wanted to start the show off with a little something. Thanks a million, Augie. Oh, all the super chats. Keep the lights on. Make sure we have scotch. Very important. As well as Spam, tuna fish, rice, beans. Get prepared, folks. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. We've got servers. We've got bills to pay. Oh, yeah. We've got, subscriptions to pay every month. Ding, 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 ding. And if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be able to pay for it. So thank you to all of you. Augie, you included, everyone. And also now let's do Darcy T. She's checking in with a $50 PayPal super chat. And that means another scotch. We typically start off every show with Darcy T and Chin Music to get the old gears turning. We've got 200 people live, folks, right out the gate. Beautiful. Share, email, text, phone call, send this internet address. Hit the reprint, the fucking redo, the share button. Do that. Let's get everyone on board tonight. There's a lot to talk about. And it's you guys bringing up the topics. Down the hatch. Thank you, Darcy T. Just like mother's milk. All right. Thank you, Mr. Uman. I got that. Darcy T's question. She says, good evening, John. Here is my question for tonight's Zoo. You mentioned China flooding the market with our T-bills, our treasury bills, in retaliation against Trump's tariff war. What do you think is the likelihood of that happening, given the fact that it would be a death blow to the already frail U.S. economy, but also would have reciprocal impact against China as well? Well, this is a great topic and one to start out with. I like to, for my own sake, keep it simple, right? Go with the KISS rule. Keep it simple, stupid. At the same time, it is a very complex topic, the way the world works. You see, the United States government sells treasury bonds or treasury bills, T-bills. They sell them to other countries. Those are the biggest buyers, and they buy that. Then they have dollars, right, that they can send to other people. They buy dollars, but that funds the United States government. And at the end of the year, right, we pay our taxes, and they pay that money back into the treasury. So the T-bill is like a big IOU from the U.S. government. That's exactly what it is. Oh, you're going to fund us in IOU at a later date, plus interest. Well, China, they're not having any of it. There's a lot of memes out there with like a 150-year-old Trump and a 150-year-old Xi Jinping going 8,000% tariff, and the other guy going 9,000% tariff, right? This tariff back and forth, it can be won. one side or the other can claim victory, or both sides can claim victory, but it's not over until it stops, and it hasn't stopped. China raised its tariff retaliation percentage, and here we are. Now, what gives China an advantage over any European nation, South American, North American, African, any other nation, is China is an economic superpower. The United States of America, our economy is weak. Darcy called it frail. Many people believe we've been in a recession or borderline recession for many years now, except the Federal Reserve continues to play its games. They're pumping out QE, or quantitative easing, cash when they need to, and they're sucking extra cash off the market as they need to. They have a number of different ways that they make sure there's liquidity, cash. But this tariff thing lands outside the purview, the review, the what the Federal Reserve does. There's going to be an impact for these tariffs on our economy. There's going to be an impact on China. The U.S. economy is frail. China as well is frail. Powerful, but frail. Kind of like the mythological Greek character Achilles, right? He was held up by a god by his Achilles heel, and then dipped in the river Styx and became invincible except for that one place, right? The Achilles heel, the weak spot. So one of the weak spots of the American economy is all of these T-bills in the hands of other countries. Now, a lot of people say China has been selling them back, just getting rid of all of their U.S. debt. And when they do that, who's going to buy it? You see, what they would do is they would normally buy, say, $100 billion this year, and then next year they'll buy another $100 billion when they sell that back. And so they're always rotating debt, and it's kind of like a show of good faith. We're friends, we're allies. I'll buy your debt and keep you in business, and then in turn you pay me back and give me interest. So we're friends. It's a reciprocal relationship with these bonds, which fund T-bills, T-bonds. Only this time, China's like, we're not buying anymore. Russia, Putin, not buying anymore. Remember, Joe Biden froze their, $350 billion? Or was it 450? It was close to $500 billion, whatever it was. In any event, all of their T-bills, they got their accounts frozen. They got kicked out of the SWIFT system, which is the international PayPal system for governments. It's government PayPal. And then they had their assets frozen. And Zelensky almost got them. He was like, I want them. You have to give me his money. Wow. Just a big wow. So if Russia gets them back, do you think Russia wants United States debt? Nope. They'll sell it back. China sells it back. And there's one more country, Darcy. Japan. A lot of people are talking about Japan is in huge trouble. The banking system, once again, it falls back on the banks. Not just the Bank of Japan, but their banking system. Not just the Federal Reserve, but Chase, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. Not looking good, right? We had an enormous stock market ride down a week and a half ago, and then they rode it back up, down a little up. It's very volatile. But those types of sell-off events are very dangerous in this world we live in today. Nothing is foolproof except in your world, your preps, food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, your gold and silver. I had to give that gold coin back. People don't tend to let those go for too long. They don't want me to forget it's theirs. In any event, Darcy, yes. There is going to be impacts on America, impacts on China. And as the tariff war or economic war or trade war, however you want to frame it, continues, there are going to be impacts. There's going to be less trade and more taxes. Well, China is the manufacturing hub of the world right now. And if fewer people are buying their stuff, then their economy is going to be crushed. Our economy can't pick up the slack. We would have to retool and start manufacturing everything here. Now, while I know they can go fast, we can't do everything all at once. Remember, most people in America are now fat, lazy, and stupid with no skills. All of these Gen Z and Gen whatever the fuck they are, the 20 to 40-year-olds, if they didn't grow up with a good work ethic, they never got one through college. They're a bunch of coffee baristas and servers and dish doers. Not that there's anything wrong with those, but those are jobs that children get. So yeah, our economy needs training, retooling, contracts, business. We're all in very big trouble. Economic SHTF. It is on, folks. It is on. And yeah, we're going to see more of that tomorrow. I am certain the United States government in Washington, D.C., well, after the UFC fight, they all gathered together and they're like, okay, this is what's coming this week. Here's our plan. Over across the Pacific in China, they're doing the same thing. They're getting together, putting together a game plan. What are we going to say? What are we going to do this week? It's going to get nasty, folks. Nasty. Okay, let's have some fun. Jolene, who's up next on the Prepared Mind channel? It's Dan the Man. And his version of CNN is the Communist News Network. And he says they're probably funded by China. I guarantee they are, Dan. I guarantee they are. The products, the companies, China, the pharmaceuticals. Okay, here's the number one proof, Dan. Here's my proof that you are absolutely right. When I turn on the TV and I turn on local news stations, 2 out of 3 commercials is for a pharmaceutical company. Even on internet channels like YouTube, or if I put on Amazon Prime, or I put on Roku TV, or I put on Peacock, whatever the free movie channels are, right? Their commercials are for pharmaceuticals. What did we learn when this tariff shit just started? What was reported? I'll tell you what was reported, because no one's answering. What was reported is that 90 to 95% of our prescription drugs are manufactured in China. China. So AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Merck, Johnson & Johnson, right? Those are some big four right there in pharmaceuticals. I thought they were American. I thought they were European. Well, if they are, how can everything be being made in China? They may not be wholly owned by China, but I'm sure they own their fair share. They're manufactured. They're made in China, no doubt. And don't forget that China warned the United States of America and warned Europe. They warned the West and said anything that is in China, China owns. If they want, they will confiscate manufacturing, which is the means of production. And they will also confiscate and take ownership of all intellectual property. In other words, anything you brought into the country is theirs. You don't get to say, that's my idea, that's my recipe, that's my formula, that's my manufacturing process. China don't give a fuck. China doesn't give a fuck. All right, folks. Thank you, Dan the Man. When I tell you, I went out and did some exercise, some swamp training today, and I managed to not get too much sun. Wore my big hat, and paddled through the coastal estuaries, paddleboard, and kicked my ass. Good stuff, folks, because I need to be in good shape for what's coming. I hope you're getting in good physical shape, doing what you can for your health as well. Okay. I want this country fixed. I want arrests. You and I, folks, we're not radicals. You and I. We're not. We're not radicals. We're not bad people. What do we want? We want Pam Bondi to do her job. We want Kash Patel to do his job. We want Dan Bongino. Shoot your mouth off, Dan. Talk all kinds of tough shit. Just make the arrests. Anyways, you and I are not alone. You and I are not the radical. We are not the radical, folks. You know who's the radical one? The leftists. But the big shots in the Republican Party have had enough. They want arrests. I've told you about Sidney Powell, release the Kraken, right? One of the attorneys who were fighting the 2020 election fraud. She is screaming for arrests. And also, I believe the Director of National Intelligence during Trump's first term, General Mike Flynn, who is not part of the current administration, he is joining you and I, folks. We're not joining him. He's joining us. There is a chorus, a huge, deafening demand of all of Trump's allies and supporters. And General Mike Flynn has joined them, and he's screaming and yelling. He is demanding answers from Pam Bondi. He's demanding answers from Kash Patel on when we're going to see some fucking arrests. Now, please understand, CNN says, well, the right is full of extremists, violence. We know that's bullshit. You and I, we're not extreme. We want law and order. We want truth, justice, and the American way. We are not extreme, you and I. General Mike Flynn is not extreme. Sidney Powell is not extreme. Right? General Flynn is now out there. Even General Flynn is using social media and regular news media pressure, making the same exact demands you and I are. So I say, be like Mike. Remember that ad campaign from a long time ago? Ooh, man, you remember that one? Be like Mike. I think that was Be Like Michael Jordan, right? Da Bulls. From Ooh, man, being a Chicago guy, he knows who the Bulls are. Anyways, demand arrests now, folks. Demand arrests and demand it happens now. We're not extreme. We're not radicals. We're not violent. We're not terrorists. We aren't burning down cities. We're not beating people up. We're looking at the political leadership, those we voted for, put in power, and supported to put them in positions of authority to do the fucking job that we can't do as individuals, but they can with government resources. And where our demand was make arrests. So I mentioned Sidney Powell. I just mentioned General Flynn. I just told you, you and I, we're not radicals. We're not violent. No, we're not. No, we are not. Okay, Jolene, let's see what else is out there. We just nailed 300 people live. 300 people live. Let's get it all the way up to 400. Everyone, thumbs up, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber or a follower on X, subscriber on YouTube. Dan Erickson with a $5 super chat. And he says, ever notice President Xi has the same haircut and dresses like Mao? This is not a racial smear or anything that Dan is doing. I actually think President Xi Jinping has a more attractive haircut than Chairman Mao, who had that weird balding thing with the thing in the back and thing, but very similar. But also, yeah, the way they dress, they don't dress well. A lot of times they dress very Western. The chairman does, Xi Jinping. Some people call him Chi, some people call him Xi. That's a little bit too nasty, so I call him Xi. Anyways, he wears a business suit, Western style. But other times he wears the more traditional Chinese garb with the collar turned up flat. And that's definitely Chairman Mao. Chairman Mao, who made sure 50 million Chinese people or more, 50 million Chinese died as a consequence of the Chi-Coms, the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, taking control back in the 1950s, folks. The 1950s. And it's interesting. I think their culture, Dan, allows them to do that. Kind of promotes the idea. If we had, if President Trump kind of tried dressing up like Abraham Lincoln with a top hat, it wouldn't quite look right. If he did the Martin Van Buren collar and poofy thing, wouldn't quite look right. If President Trump, he's got some good hair, but if he tried doing the Andrew Jackson hair, the big pompadour bouffant, right, wouldn't come off so good. But, Chinese, they got their preferences. Anything Xi does, nobody in China criticizes. Oh, boy. How would you like to be a communist dictator in charge for life? And that's what the chairman does. Anyways, thank you, Dan, for keeping the lights on, keeping the show going. You and I, folks, we are not radicals. We're not violent. We're reasoning. We're calm. We want some fucking arrest. And who else is joining us? I just mentioned General Mike Flynn. I just mentioned Release the Kraken, Sidney Powell. How about this name here? Another big, giant name. Another Republican like Sidney Powell, like General Flynn, who was arrested and fucked with by the Democrats. Lawfare. Illegal, unconstitutional attacks. Public smearing. Rudy Giuliani, folks. He is not criticizing dollar store Obama, Hakeem Jeffries. He's not criticizing Chuck Schumer or Nancy Pelosi. He's not criticizing the Obamas or the Clintons. No. Rudy Giuliani is criticizing Kash Patel and Pam Bondi. That's right, the director of the FBI and the Attorney General for the United States of America. And this is what Rudy Giuliani says. I'm very upset right now. Do you know why? Oh, we all fucking know why. No arrests. But get this, folks. More and more and more big name Republican power brokers want fucking arrests, and they want them now. You and I are not alone. We're not the radicals. We're not asking for anything crazy. We want law and order, truth and justice, and we want the law applied to criminals. This is great, folks. When you write, and I mean email, comment, text, phone call. In fact, maybe we can get Uman or Jolene to put the Capitol switchboard as well as internet addresses up on the board. When you call them, when you text them, when you write them, when you email them, there it is. Pow. Thank you, Uman. We got Senate.gov, we got Congress.gov, and the Capitol switchboard. Phone call. When you call, write, text, send a flaming message on a safety arrow, carrier pigeon, smoke signals, beat on a drum, bum, 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 right? When you do that, you're not alone. You're not just doing it with me, right? You're not just with that crazy radical John, No, it's not just me and you. It's Rudy Giuliani. It's Steve Bannon. It's General Flynn, right? It's people like Peter Navarro. Roger Stone has been burning up social media over Letitia James, that fat ass, bug-eyed, lying sack of shit. She's in hot fucking water because what she owns 3 or 4 homes in the state of Virginia, and she claimed one of them as her primary residence, while she's the attorney general for New York, the state of. You can't do both. You can't do both. So she's in big trouble for the very thing she went after Trump for. Funny. What do they call that? Projection? Oh, projection it is. That's right. Projection. Democrats do stuff wrong. They look at everyone else and accuse them of exactly what they're doing wrong. Letitia James claiming, right? Claiming real estate fraud, mortgage fraud. And then she accuses Trump of that. Well, Trump didn't commit fraud. He paid back the loan he took out, but they wanted to prosecute him anyways. In any event, folks, these power brokers are going after the Democrats, and they're getting tired of Kash Patel doing sporting events and public relations bullshit and taking credit for what the Coast Guard and state police are doing and the drug enforcement. The DEA is not the FBI. Kash Patel was not out there with the drug dogs sniffing luggage. Wasn't Cash. No, he wasn't. Dan Bongino wasn't sniffing luggage. Pam Bondi wasn't sniffing luggage, but they want to show up and take credit for it to pretend like they're doing something. Bullshit, right? Bullshit. Now, I say join them, the Roger Stones, the Rudy Giulianis, the General Flynns. Join them, the Peter Navarros out there fighting for us, folks. Join them, right? Unite your authority with theirs. Unite all of our authority over government by demanding Spam Blondie and Crash Pedals do their fucking jobs and start making arrests of the Epstein clients and our nation's traitors like, well, I don't know, Hillary, Obama, Schiff, Vindeman, Susan Rice. Never forget her name. I don't know if she has had her security clearance revoked, but Susan Rice is an evil bitch. Nancy Pelosi, speaking of evil bitches, and all the rest who have stolen trillions of dollars to create kickbacks for themselves, to create anti-American organizations that attack our republic, our nation, our Constitution, and your rights. Welcome to the show, folks. As usual, it's a blistering hot zoo. Hit the thumbs up on the video no matter where you're at, or the heart. Do that. Be sure and follow. Be sure and hit the subscribe button, especially on YouTube. I want to give YouTube the big finger with good turnout numbers. Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Uman. Jolene, I'm detecting another question from the audience. And it's Nancy K. Kapow with a $20 super chat donation. And she says, this is for one of the most truthful channels out here. Much thanks to all. And Semper Fi, always faithful. Nancy, little sister, I appreciate it very much. I try and tell it like it is. I try and say it like it is. I try and see it for what it is. I'm not afraid to criticize. I try to be careful about how I criticize because people are sensitive, especially when you talk about Israel or Ukraine or Iran or England. But there are elements around the world that are evil. I try to be careful when I talk about Xi Jinping. I try to be careful when I talk about Vladimir Putin of Russia. I don't want anyone to think I love these people. I'm critical of all of them. I support America and America first, not the Democrat Party. And I do not support the Republican Party. I support freedom and liberty. And for the most part, Republicans tend to be right there. I'm a registered Republican, but I'm not happy with Congress doing jack shit. Right? The House of Republicans, we have the majority. And who's in charge? Who's the speaker? Maggot Mike Johnson, who has done very, very little. And the Senate is a Republican Senate, just like Trump had in 2016 when he took office back then into 2017. They had the House and the Senate and didn't do shit with it. Here we are. So January 20th, so February 20th, March 20th, April 20th. That's 7 days away. Next week will be 3 months of Trump in office. Where's all the arrests? I want deportations, not just of the violent criminals, not just the rapists, not just the drug dealers, not just the murderers. I want them all out. You cross into our country illegally, you are a criminal. Once again, folks, right, I went to this waterway today, and there was a great parking spot. No one else was in it. It was at the end of the parking lot. It was just a place I could pull the old SHTF tank onto, and it was grassy. But there's a sign that said, "Park on the grass, you will be fined." I was like, well, hell. Every time I look at Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, you can commit pedophilia. You can commit murder. You can commit human trafficking. You can commit fucking treason. Outright treason. Lie to the American public. Pay foreign intelligence agencies to lie about Trump, start investigations, and it's fine. Treason, treason, treason. No arrests. If I were to park on that fucking grass, how long do you think it would take the next park ranger to come by and go, "Hey, boo-boo, it looks like John parked on the grass," right? That would be my ass. Anyways, I try and be truthful, honest, forthright. I share my opinions, and I ask for your guys' opinions in your topics, because this is your show as well. Thank you, Nancy Keg. You are awesome. Please be prepared. The name Keg carries with it more than just party tones, right? Being a God-fearing constitutional American is going to get us all in the crosshairs of these left-wing scumbags. Literally, left-wing scumbags. We're not the radicals, folks. The Democrats, they are. They are the radicals. They are the violent ones. Okay, Jolene, who's up next on the Prepared Mind channel? We've got Uman. He says, today there were reports of Jizzy Maxwell. This is Jeffrey Epstein's partner, his lover, his confidant, his partner. She petitioned the Supreme Court of the United States for her conviction to be overturned and for her to be released. That's not the type of release we're looking for. No. Uman says they're giving them too much time to regroup, strategize, and retaliate. I agree 100%. Trump had them the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. He had the political left, the deep state, the international scumbags. They were on their fucking heels. He was pushing them in every direction. They didn't know what to do. But then in came Pam Bondi. Crickets. In came Kash Patel. Crickets. No one's being arrested. So the left feels like they can regroup. They've got time to strategize. They are now retaliating. They got all these liberal, scumbag, communist, anti-American federal judges to start turning over using judicial fiat. Not real power, folks. Not de jure government authority, but fake assumed judicial power to overturn Trump's decisions as the chief executive of the nation. Congress finally passed a little bit of legislation that says no more of that shit. They need to defund them and kick them the fuck out. Not just pass some cutesy legislation saying you should stop that. And Trump should ignore them. In my opinion, he should ignore the judges. The judges are ignoring the fucking Constitution. Why should he listen to judges? Judges are not supreme. Judges are not the final say. All three branches of the United States government are co-equal. They all have specific duties. Article 1 in the United States Constitution. That's right. I keep it handy. Just like I keep a gun and lots of ammunition handy at all times. I keep it handy. Article 1 is the legislature, the Senate, the House of Representatives, and what their jobs, responsibilities, and duties are. Article 2 is the President of the United States, his responsibilities, his duties, his authority. And Article 3, judges. They're supposed to determine things as well. They have duties and authority as well. But they do not get to tell the president what he can and can't do with his authority. So you're right, Uman. The fight is on, right? But the left needs to be swatted. And I don't mean that with SWAT teams. They need to be swatted like a fly, bitch slapped like a hoe. They need to be arrested. Look, it's so simple. Imagine if you were part of a gang in your city, in your town, in your county, wherever you live. Imagine if there was 100 bad guys and you were one of them, and you were all bank robbers, and you wore striped shirts, black and white, and you wore the beanie, right? And you wear a little black mask, right? You're all bank robbers. And, well, the police came in and started arresting your cohorts, right? Oh, fuck, it was Billy. Billy got arrested. And then Jimmy got arrested. And then Marv got arrested. And then Fred got arrested. You're going to start thinking you're next. I'm next. Oh, shit, they're coming after us. They're starting to arrest us. They're coming to get us. They know who we are. Jimmy and Marv and Fred, they're going to roll over and rat us out. If they would start making arrests, Schiff, Hillary, Obama, Vindeman, I hate that piece of shit. What a cocksucking piece of shit. Fauci needs to be arrested. They arrest these people. Everyone else is going to think they are next. They will be running scared. They will hide. They will flee the country. They will go underground. They'll start wearing those Groucho Marx glasses with the nose and the mustache, trying to hide. Telling you. They would be afraid. Instead, they've strategized, they're retaliating, and they're not afraid. Kash Patel, Pam Bondi should be arresting judges like Bo Asberg because of conflict of interest and his participation. Oh, it's coming out. He has participated in a lot. He is also good buddies behind the scenes with none other than Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, John Roberts. They're part of a little gang of liberal America-hating judges who have done just what Uman has said. They're strategizing and retaliating. Arrest the motherfuckers. They'll change their game. Jolene, who's up next? Who do we got? Who's on deck? And it's Dan, the man Erickson, with a $5 super chat donation. And he says, hey, the Korean War in the 1950s was the time communism should have ended, but we let it thrive. Let's start not with the Korean War, but World War II. In World War II, the United States of America and England and France, old Charles de Gaulle, they were all buddies with each other. The Soviet Union, communist Soviet Union, joined forces to try and defeat the Nazis, the Germans. General Patton, the guy who said, you don't win a war by dying for your country. You win a war by making the other dumb bastard die for his country. That General Patton. He wanted to hit Berlin and keep going towards Moscow to defeat the communists. But he was stopped. He was told no. We should have defeated communists at the end of World War II. That was a huge mistake because right after World War II, we had communist infiltration that continued in this country. McCarthyism started, right? The threat of the red threat was there, right? Communism. Over in China, Chairman Mao had his cultural revolution. Just like the Bolshevik Revolution. The Bolsheviks, by the way, were Jews. And they killed how many millions of people in Russia by starving them out? Same thing that Chairman Mao did. Chairman Mao starved his own people out. The Korean War, by the way, MacArthur, General Douglas MacArthur, another great general. He was the one with the corncob pipe, and he had kind of like the mirror glasses. MacArthur was a badass also. And he went in there, and he should have been allowed to blast through North Korea with the Army and Marine Corps in tow and stomp the ever-loving shit out of those rice eaters and drive them all the way back to fucking Beijing. Instead, didn't happen. And we're still suffering the consequences for failure to follow through. Dan, I see the distinction. I see the similarity between then and now. Yeah, we won World War II. Russia should have just gave up, should have known better. They didn't. They persisted 50 fucking years. Right? China should have been defeated. They're still around. And now what do we have? A fascist, communist, Democrat organization that wants to take over our country and wants to replace our population, replace the blacks, replace the whites, replace the Hispanics, the same way they're doing it in Europe, with the most ignorant, backwards ass, violent, low IQ, dumb motherfuckers from around the world. They want to replace us and take over our country. The same thing that's happening in Europe, they want to happen in America. And just like Truman, he should have let Patton go after the Russians at that time to stop communism. Just like they failed with MacArthur by stopping him from finishing off the fucking Chinese. The deep state right now is being allowed to go because Trump is not commanding his troops to make the fucking arrests. General Flynn is. Rudy Giuliani wants them. Hell, Roger Stone wants some fucking payback. I'm sure Pete Hegseth would have no problem putting his best military police, judge advocate general, naval investigative service, name the fucking groups. He would love to have them arrest these people for treason, relocate them to Guantanamo Bay, and hold military tribunal trials for treason. It could all happen fast. Instead, currently, the left-wing lunatics are, as Dan says, thriving. And that is a scary proposition. You don't let cancers persist. You destroy the cancer. You cut it out. You remove it. You don't let disease persist. Thank you very much, Big Dan. I appreciate that. Great questions and comments today, folks. Holy cow, we're almost 1 hour in on this Sunday Night Live. The Zoo, we're here live. If you've got something to say, super chat button gets you on the screen. Jolene, who do we want up next? And it's becoming dangerous. He's got a lot to ask about here. He says, gold in Fort Knox. Remember when they were talking about that? And then I think someone went and opened the door and went, oh, shit. We need to get some fucking gold in here. I think 1,200 tons of gold. That's a ton. 1,200 tons of gold has been shipped back into this country. Does it all go to the United States? Is it Warren Buffett's gold? The Federal Reserve? They don't want to do the audit publicly now, folks. In fact, they don't want to talk about it at all. Epstein list arrested? Not one. Not one becoming dangerous. Nope. Money launderers in Congress arrested? Nope. Haven't seen that one either. How can they not see all of these people, the money launderers, that are pushing money out into all these bureaucracies, having it go out into the world and then circle back right into their bank accounts? Now, the Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, Federal Bureau of Investigation, Internal Revenue Service dismantled? No, we were told that they were going to turn the FBI into a fucking museum, but they were going to clean it up and get rid of all the corruption, get rid of all the bad agents, and start again. Nope. Alcohol, tobacco, firearms? No. IRS was going to be dismantled because we're going to go to a tariff tax system. We're going to fire all the agents. I think the agents that are there should be auditing every single congressman, congresswoman, senator, bureaucrat in Washington, and not on their own. We need hairy balls, big balls, gnarly balls. Every one of the Department of Government Efficiencies, they should be able to hand, whoosh, here's your sheet. Here's 20 people to go after. Whoosh, here's your sheet, agent, and hand every fucking agent, government employees to go after, politicians to go after. How can Nancy Pelosi be worth $200 million? How? On a $174,000 salary? How can Dollar Store Obama, Discount Obama, Hakeem Jeffries, how can he be a multimillionaire? AOC a multimillionaire, Chuck Schumer a multimillionaire. Every one of these motherfuckers is a multimillionaire in Congress. That's not representing me. So Becoming Dangerous says, nope, none of that's been done. Same old New York Democrat, Trump. Trump was a Democrat. Trump became a Republican because the Democrats went so far left that they checked out. They don't even get on the screen anymore. Trump loves to talk. Right? The art of the deal. You don't negotiate with treason. You fucking arrest it. You don't negotiate with murderers like Fauci. You arrest them. You don't negotiate with criminals, terrorists. You arrest them. It's that fucking simple. I'm not happy with the fact that the arrests aren't made. Trump has been doing his job with respect to things he is personally handling. Love that. But he is also responsible for Pam Bondi. He can't just say, I hired her and she just does what she wants. I can't do anything about it. No, he can do everything about it, and he should. He should. Thank you very much, Becoming Dangerous. I appreciate that. We need to criticize everybody who is not doing their job. Trump, good job on these tariffs and fucking these other countries up because they're screwing us over. And the fact that the world may go into a recession because of United States tariffs. Well, what the fuck are their tariffs doing to us? We're supporting their countries by paying their taxes, by paying their fucking tariffs. I get it. Trump is doing good there, but he's not doing good with his own kids who aren't in class doing their job. They're out at recess in the fucking sandbox playing games. I am sick and tired of seeing Kash Patel at sporting events and taking credit for other people's arrests. Sick and fucking tired of it. The left is out there, as Uman said, regrouping, strategizing, and retaliating. and they're encouraging more violence from their people. Remember when we read the thing from the Communist News Network, as Dan calls them? Right? We're the violent ones. We haven't done shit. Unlike this little fucking cretin here I'm going to talk about. A violent, murderous, left-wing Democrat teenager. That's right, teenager. Has been arrested for what? Murdering his fucking parents. He was also plotting to assassinate President Trump and overthrow the government. Well, how can one teenage moron do that? By getting together gangs of other moronic teenagers. These are the same types of pea-brains, folks. This guy that killed his parents and thinking he's going to take over the government once he kills Trump. These are the same types of pea-brains that think boys can have babies and women can be men with penises. They're dangerous morons. They're violent morons. They're all left-wing morons. And they're not afraid to take action. Trump is not taking action. He appointed Bondi. She's done jack shit. He's appointed Kash Patel. He's done jack shit. They hired Dan Bongino. He's done absolutely fucking nothing. When Rudy Giuliani, General Flynn say, make some fucking arrests. Roger Stone, he was embarrassed with a 5 a.m. beat down the fucking door. We're going to point guns at you and arrest you on CNN. Has Trump forgotten he took a fucking bullet through the ear? Where's the investigation on that? Why isn't that done? Who the hell was Ryan Root? Who the heck was this fucking kid with all of his cell phones and FBI contacts? We don't know who any of them are. The deep state, folks, is running circles around all of us because they're still in power. They're still in power. Yeah, Trump should be concerned. Kash needs to grow a pair and be a fucking man. Pam Bondi, I guess she won't grow a pair of fucking big hairy onions, but at least she could have a spine and some guts and some fucking personal integrity and do her fucking job. Sick of these fucking losers. And we, my friends, can force, with pressure, not violence, our government to do it. So please step up. Please step up and do it. Write, call, text, smoke signal, carrier pigeon. Your congressmen, your senators, and Pam Bondi herself, and Kash Patel himself. I do it through X all day long. Well, as soon as I'm on X and I have time. In any event, let's do another super chat. It's your show. It's Sunday Night Live. It's Hit the Fan. Are you prepared? Do you know what's going on? Do you know what's going on? Flibitis says, dang glad to see John ride Patel and Bongino with Spurs. I wish I could. I wish I could. Crash pedals and Bongino. No, they're not impressing me. Flibitis says they got rolled. This is Crash and Dan Bongino. They got rolled within a day of arriving at the FBI. Yeah. Someone pulled on their short hairs. Someone tightened their choke collars. Someone stood them up, backed them down, and took them into the fucking woodshed and showed them where the bear shits in the woods. I just combined all kinds of crap in that just for you, Flibitis. Just for you. It's coming, folks. It is coming. They need to not give a shit. They need to stand up. They need to act like men. They need to act like people who are brave. Really brave. All right, Jolene, who's up next? What do we have? We've got Chin Music with a $4.99 super chat donation. He says McCarthyism morphed into the Democrat Party. There's so many lessons learned if you look back through decades and decades. This is an interesting topic Chin brought up. McCarthyism. They were accusing everyone that they didn't like. McCarthy was the political person who was at the head, the top of going after the red threat, communist threat in this country because of communist infiltration in colleges, corporations, banking cartel, and government. Well, guess what? They've really infiltrated. But McCarthyism, accusing your enemy and attacking everybody, putting fear in everyone's hearts. Yeah, that morphed. The Democrat Party, I would say, adopted that strategy. Attack, 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 except the Democrats are the communists that McCarthyism was supposed to stop. You think the Democrat Party didn't see the effectiveness of accusing your enemy of the worst sort of behavior so that the public would turn against them? Did you know that a larger percentage of the uber wealthy, the billionaires and the mega millionaires, the vast majority of them are Democrats, not fat cat, fat ass Republicans. No, no, no. Not a bunch of country club, blue-blooded conservatives. They aren't the majority of millionaires and billionaires. The Democrats are. They have the money, and they pretend like the Democrat Party gives a shit about blacks, Hispanics, the poor, right? Labor unions. They don't give a fuck about any of them. Women's rights. When was the last time the Democrats stood up for any fucking woman? Nah. Fucking Bill Clinton either raped him, molested him, or whatever, settled all his, or fucking violated them by putting cigars in their vaginas. That was Bill Clinton. An old stand by your man Hillary, she didn't care. In fact, she attacked Paula Jones, one of Bill Clinton's victims, Juanita Broderick, who was raped, according to her, by Bill Clinton viciously and violently. She is still on X right now, social media. And she was swatted also. That's right. She and about 20 other strong social media influencers, not the fake ones, the real ones, kind of like you guys, kind of like the Prepared Mind Network, the R Syndicate, and everyone associated with us. So Cat Turd, Juanita Broderick, the Eaglemans, I think the Hodge twins maybe. Anyways, it didn't matter what color, your age, nothing. They were swatted by Democrats who called the police, said there's a violent emergency going on. The police show up in SWAT gear, ready to kick down doors and shoot people. Guess how many arrests? 0. A big fat fucking 0. Kash Patel, come on. Pam Bondi, where's the investigations? No, fuck the investigations. Telling me they don't know who the fuck it is. This is what's going on, folks. The Democrats are being given free rein to do whatever the fuck they want. Judges are doing whatever the fuck they want. Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff, pencil neck, bug-eyed, butt pirate Schiff. Always sounds like he's talking out his ass, which is why I use that picture of him with a sphincter where his mouth is when I post about him on X. Oh, he joined with Jamie Raskin, another Democrat slimebag douche piece of shit. The reason I call them all these names, folks, is because that's what I think of them. I am not afraid to call them the pieces of shit that they are. They've earned it. Raskin and Schiff formed a Senate, House of Representatives, dual-powered committee to interfere with and impede President Trump's agenda and his office. That alone is interfering with the President of the United States with their extra constitutional bullshit. Unfucking believable. But believe it, it's real. Jolene, who's up next? What do we have? And it's Fleabits again. And he says, is it possible that all of Trump's travails were staged? All of his troubles? Professional wrestling to con the public into installing a demagogue. Yeah, it is possible that Trump staged all of this. He staged his presidency. He staged his opposition to the Democrats and the New World Order and the World Economic Forum. He could have staged his own shooting. He could have, splattered blood on his ear and made it look like he was. They could have done an operation. All of this could have been staged. Could have. He's been an entertainer, Trump. He did do some of the professional wrestling stuff, 20 years ago because it was cool and stuff. He's Trump, right? He likes fighting. He likes conflict. He likes that. Do we have evidence that it's fake? What we have is an administration, the Department of Justice and the Attorney General's office not doing their fucking job. Do we have proof, evidence that Trump is just there as a demagogue, someone for the left to hate? One of the things that's happened, though, is since Trump's first term, the pedophilia has come to the public's attention. Jeffrey Epstein and the pedophiles. Little St. James Island. Comet Ping Pong. Pizza and hot dogs. All of that shit. Right? That's come to light. A lot of things have come to light because of Trump. The left has absolutely committed war and treason, trying to get rid of him. So yeah, he has woke America up. The patriotism, the support for Trump, and freedom, liberty, make America great again. Yeah, it's a slogan, but it's also a goal. And when you have that goal and the slogan, you can set an agenda behind it. But there needs to be real action. Arrest the traitors. Arrest the criminals. Clean out the dirty politicians, the dirty judges. Arrest the evil fucking politicians, right? It's so easy. It's so easy. And we're at 400 people live right now. Bam. 400 people live. Be sure and subscribe or follow. Be sure and hit the thumbs up or the heart. Be sure and share the internet address. Hit the share button, repost button. Get this video out there. It is a crushing factual video that we're doing right now. Oh, yeah. Trump could be a plan, but why? Why take a chance with everyone that wants to fucking kill him? Everyone that fucking hates Trump and his family, his son, his wife. People are making death threats. He got shot through the fucking ear. He was going to get shot on a golf course. The Secret Service missed at point blank with the whole magazine. Yeah, I don't trust the Secret Service. They let Kennedy get shot through the fucking head. That's right, Secret Service. Secret Service, Secret Service, Secret Service, Secret Service. The same Secret Service that sent a bunch of second-rate B-team fucking agents to Butler County, Pennsylvania, who dropped the fucking ball, couldn't even put their fucking sidearms in their holster. One fucking agent cowering behind the podium instead of protecting the president. Secret Service. Crazy business, folks. Jolene, who's up next? We've got Dan the Man Erickson with a $5 super chat. He's back again. He says, where is the justice for the entire massive whole Russian collusion hoax? Well, let's get into this. Russia. Remember that shit? Trump is a Russian asset. Trump is a Putin stooge. Trump is a Putin puppet. Hillary, what a bitch Clinton, got a hold of some jackass named Steele in England, hired him to build a fake, phony, plastic banana dossier, meaning a file folder, put a bunch of bullshit files in there that Trump is colluding with Russia. That's the Russian collusion hoax that Dan is referring to. It was blessed. It was blessed by the intelligence communities and sent back in so that people like Adam fucking Schiff could lie about Trump. The media could run with the story. It was all a fucking hoax. It was a scam. It was lies. It was paid for by Hillary, probably with USAID money. That's right, probably with USAID money. They paid for it all, folks. To me, as far as I'm concerned, it was interfering with the president's job. It was campaign interference. It was treason. Hillary should be under arrest. That old, grisly whore of a woman. And if you've seen Chelsea and know who her daddy is, then you know why I called her that. Where's the justice? Great question, Dan. It's one more thing that we know who did it. Benghazi? The failure of Benghazi? In order to ship weapons from there, Benghazi, over to Al-Qaeda. Oh, yeah, Al-Qaeda. Oh, no, it's the good Al-Qaeda, the Obama and Hillary team said. That's right, President Obama, Hillary as Secretary of State, celebrating the death of Gaddafi. They ruined that fucking country. They ruined Libya. And they had the Benghazi attack and failure. And she had the guts to say, what difference does it make now? Yeah, after everyone's fucking dead, what difference does it make? This is our country, folks. If Trump doesn't stand up and get fucking pissed off and tell these people to do their fucking jobs, we're done. We are going to end up with partisan conflict, terrorism, and secession. I could say segregation because I think that'll be part of the partisan conflict, is this country will self-segregate. The great state of Florida, I say we send every fucking Democrat packing. You can swim south to Cuba. You can swim west to Mexico. Or you can swim east to Africa. I couldn't give a fuck. Get out of my state. We're going to have violence, folks. If we don't have justice at the highest levels, we won't have justice on the street. I am not calling for violence or danger or criminal behavior or any of that. What I'm calling for is the president and all the president's men to do their fucking jobs. All right. Thank you again, Dan the man. And Jolene, who is up next? What do we have? What is the topic? What are we going to do? You got it. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you, Oliver. Alan Meyer Jensen says they hate Trump so much they put little bulk USA plastic flags on all goods and ban Coca-Cola. They go amok over here. They do hate Trump. Unfortunately, your comments here are a little bit difficult to follow the point you're making. Black flags. Oh, he's in Denmark. Okay. Alan Meyer Janssen. They hate Trump. Yeah, they do. They put little black USA plastic flags on all the goods. That's what they're doing in Denmark. They're making sure nobody buys U.S. goods. They're banning Coca-Cola, very American. Don't worry, Alan, because in America, Coca-Cola says, be less white. Well, I'll tell you what. I can't be less white. I am fucking Scandinavian, and that's all there is to it. I am proud to be an American. I'm proud to be white. Got no problems with my past, my history, my family. Got no problems. Someone else wants to be ashamed of who they are because they've been terrorized by Democrats and communists, then they're weak. Yes, it sounds like, Alan, that yes, things have run amok over there. We haven't heard from Remy Marsh over in the Netherlands either. Denmark, Netherlands, Scandinavia, if you will. All right, Jolene, thank you. Who's up next on the Prepared Mind channel? I've got a lot of stuff to talk about. And Becoming Dangerous says Trump is probably installed to manage America's bankruptcy with the Fed. That was a theory that came out for his first presidency. Was that's what he's doing here. Right? That's what he is doing here. Trump is what the fuck is going on here? What they came up with, Trump was installed to manage the bankruptcy because, he's an expert at it. Well, it turns out he's not as big an expert as everyone said, but nonetheless, folks, we're having some trouble. There it is. The browser lost connection. Ooman, can you hear me? Okay, Ooman can hear. There we go. We just got the computer froze up. Let's hear about it. I'll be right back on in a moment, folks. There we go. Hold on tight. And I'm back on. Get this, folks. Get this. This is incredible. Conservative watchdog group Judicial Watch is suing the Trump administration. Isn't that just grand? Right? Judicial Watch is Tom Fitton. Right? They're suing the Trump Department of Justice for withholding the Jeffrey Epstein files. It's an alleged Freedom of Information Act violation on the part of Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. And folks, we all know that Pam and Kash are fucking losers when a conservative watchdog leader has to sue them to force them to do their fucking jobs. Right? Pam and Kash are fucking Democrats right now because it's taking Tom Fitton to sue them over violating FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. In other words, this is information that is not top secret. It needs to be released. Whatever happened, by the way? First Pam says, I've got all the files on my desk. And then she goes, I don't have any files. And then she says, we found all the files. There's a truckload of the files. They're being held in the Southern District of New York's office. And now they're on her desk. Did anyone ever see a truck pull up? Did anyone ever see a truckload of files taken into Pam's office? Why hasn't Pam released anything? Judicial Watch is on it. We have trouble, folks. You and I, all of us, need to keep the pressure on. I'm not forgetting. I'm not giving up. It's not going away. We want justice. Children have been victimized. Children. Sexually victimized by everybody who went to Epstein's Island. All the Epstein clients. And Pam is protecting them. And Kash is protecting them. And since they won't do their jobs and Trump will fire them, Trump is now protecting the fucking child rapists, child murderers, child molesters, and Epstein list clients. I'm fucking hot over it, folks. I am. I'm absolutely pissed off about this. We all should be. That's because Kash and Pam won't do their jobs. Children are suffering and will continue to suffer. Oh, some poor fucking gangster from another country comes here. We kick his ass out of the country. And these fucking Democrat judges say, oh, he was denied. He was denied his due process. We've got to get him back up here so we can have a court hearing and then send him out because he needs due process. No, he is a fucking foreign enemy, right? Illegal alien enemy. Is that what Trump had? The Enemies Act, the Alien Enemies Act. Anyways, These fucking people, they want justice for a fucking criminal, but they don't want justice for all the kids who were, are, and shall be molested by these sick motherfuckers. Folks, the Immigration and Custom Enforcement in Boston arrested an Ecuadorian, from Ecuador. He's here illegally. He has over 20 child sex crime charges against him. And they went and arrested the son of a bitch. And the mayor of the city, Mayor of Boston, Michelle Wu, a communist piece of shit, has been protecting this guy and other sexual predators and illegals. Folks, the Democrats own this. They want rapists to rape women and little girls and little boys. They want child molesters to molest little boys and little girls. They want kidnappers to kidnap little boys and little girls. The Democrats want drug dealers. They want terrorists inside the United States of America. This isn't a question of politics. This is a question of destroying the country. To me, it's 100% proof we're in a quiet civil war in Washington, and Trump needs to pronounce it as such. He needs to declare war against the deep state, not just put some of his people out there, not just fucking with them, not just firing a few here and a few there. That's great that they're firing the fucking holdovers and the jackasses and the dickheads. Pete Hegseth has been firing them. They need to openly announce this is a war against child molesters and fucking rapists and scumbags in government. We're in a quiet civil war in Washington, folks. And the Democrats are the evil bastards trying to steal the republic from us. And Bondi and Cash have proven to be worthless political pawns that Trump moved onto the board and done nothing with because they don't have guts or integrity. And my thing to Cash and Pam and Dan and everybody, prove me wrong if you disagree with me. Show me your integrity. Show me your guts. Make the fucking arrests. Where's the Epstein arrest? Where's the fraud arrest? Where's the treason arrest for Schiff, Vindman, Hillary, Obama, and the rest? I am going to continue to beat these fucking drums, folks, because this is what's going on. This is the war. It's crazy shit, isn't it? Never would you have thought all of the information they have right now of the actual real crimes, and they won't go make the arrests. They won't give us the names. They won't tell us exactly what the crimes are. DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, has come out and said what? What have they said? Trillions of dollars in fraud through these agencies, and there's people in charge of these agencies. Those are the criminals. Jolene, who's up next on the Prepared Mind channel? We're 90 minutes in. Another 30 minutes to go, and we got Boomer with a $20 super chat donation. He says, if parts of Trump's administration continue to not do their jobs like Pam and friends, then midterm losses would spell the end of the MAGA movement, the Make America Great Again. That's correct. Trump had his Trump train behind him, his Trump support team, all of us screaming and yelling, make America great again. Right? Getting the vote out, getting people registered, watching, volunteering to make sure that fraud didn't happen everywhere that we could. And if they don't make the fucking arrests, where will you give a fuck in the midterms? Look, folks, I'm not telling everyone to give up. What I'm telling you is if we get all the way to the midterm elections, right? In a year, they start campaigning. Year and 3 months, they campaign hard for the midterm elections that'll happen in November of 2026. Not far away, is it? It's a year and a half away before the campaigning starts. Why would any of us give a fuck about voting for any of these Republicans? They haven't done shit. They're a bunch of cowards, spineless weaklings, sellouts like Eye Patch McCain and Senator Cornyn and Toon. All of these big fat ass power brokers are doing nothing but protecting themselves, protecting their good buddies in the Democrat Party, protecting other fucking pedophiles and thieves and scumbags and sellouts that have sold out to China or Israel or England and the European Union and the banking system. It would be the end of the Make America Great Again movement. Trump would instantly be a lame duck asshole and no one will give a fuck. Why should we? Make the arrest and we'll get behind the Trump administration. The Trump train will roar harder, faster, and fucking louder than ever. Arrest them. Start with Schiff. Start with Vindeman. Start with Hillary. Start with Obama. Start with any of them. A name we all know that is a criminal fucking name. The Biden family, for fuck's sake. Right? My frustration, my anger is real. I'm not going to do anything violent. I'm not going to do anything illegal. I'm not going to encourage anything dangerous or harmful. But I'm talking to you guys the same way you talk to me. You're not happy with what you're seeing. You want the problems fixed. We've got the power, the authority, and the law and the evidence on our side. There is no reason that bitch Pam shouldn't be arresting people. Instead, she wants to get her hair done, get her makeup done, go sit on Fox News and warn people. Again, she's that bad mother whose kid is throwing a fucking fit in the store, throwing food and shit out of the shopping cart, screaming and yelling and throwing a tantrum. She keeps going, if you don't stop that, you're going to be in trouble later. You just wait. You're going to be in trouble. I'm telling you. You don't do that again. Stop that. That's Pam Bondi. She's that mom. She's that mom. Fuck. Thanks, Boomer, for your great support of the channel. We've got a lot to do, folks. The fight was not over with the election, as we all talked about, warned, and knew. The fight is not over. The fight is just beginning. I need you, my friends, brothers, and sisters, to stand up and fight. Write, call, text, fucking comment, email, whatever it takes. All of your congressmen, all of your senators, everyone you can, including Pam, including Cash. They're fucking worms. They're attorneys. Folks, I've met good attorneys. I've seen a whole lot more shit attorneys. Let's do it. Who's up next? Jolene. What are we going to do? Holy cow. It's Fleabitis. And he is doing a $49.99 super chat donation. That's $50 to you and me, which means I get a scotch. Glenlivet, 15 years, single malt scotch whiskey. I was getting a little thirsty. Yep. Right there. Right up to the old 30 caliber bullet. Fleabitis, welcome to the show. Welcome to the channel. Make sure you're a subscriber. Prost Semper Fi. Salut and thank you. He says, the damn thing refuses to take $50. Can I owe you a penny? Of course you can only penny. Your show, only authentic thing on YouTube. Look, folks, I am who I am. I couldn't give a fuck what anyone else thinks. You can ask Ooman. You can ask Jolene. She's been with me for fucking years. You can ask anyone who talks to me. This is just who I am. I work hard. I'm busy as fuck. I don't have any free time. I'm up all night fucking thinking when I should be sleeping. I'm up 0 dark 30 every fucking day. I go to a job trying to pay the bills. And you guys here support this channel, this effort, and what I do. And I thank you for that, man, that you believe that this is, like Nancy Kaag said, it's a truthful channel. It's an honest channel. We talk about real things. Get fucking prepared. Get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense in your plan. You, circle around you, 10-mile circle, Those are people that can walk to your place in a day and make your life a living hell if we end up with another summer of love like 2020. And that could very well happen. I'll tell you what, I will say this. If Pam Bondi and Kash Patel are told, do your fucking job, release the lists and make arrests, and the arrests happen, and Hillary and Pelosi and the Democrats turn loose Antifa and BLM, and they turn loose the pro-Palestinians and the fucking screwball jihad Joes, so be it. So be it. I want the enemy on the streets. If that's how they want to play the fucking game, if they want to pretend, the Democrats, they want scorched earth, I'll meet them on the fucking battlefield. I will. If they want to come over hill and dale, through a tunnel, across a bridge, into the swamp, out of the swamp, however they need to end up in my area, I'll fucking let them have it. I know all of you will as well. We're tired of this shit. Justice must be served. When justice is not served, what happens? You end up with a world of injustice, tyranny, totalitarianism. That's what they're pushing for, because they will not free our nation of their evil grip they have on us. Thank you, Phlebitis. $49.99. I know that works just fine. Oh, that was a good scotch, by the way. Thank you so much. All right, let us continue. Jolene, who's up next? We have bump, ba-da-dump, bump. Ooman, he says, John and I don't agree on everything and discuss things frankly. And sometimes he realizes I'm always right. Oh, yeah. Ooman, I love you, brother. Here's the deal. I try and be very honest with everybody. I try. This is who I am. Sometimes I'll take another person's argument. I'll take it's called play devil's advocate. Take the other side of the argument just to bring it out, discuss it, examine it, and see if it has merit. We don't always agree on everything. And I don't want anyone to take my word for it 100%. Listen to what I say. Check it out. Research it. Research the history. Research the evil of communism. Research the evil of the Bolsheviks. Research the evil of the Talmudics. Research the evil of fucking socialists and communists and fucking fascists. Research it. How many hundreds of millions of people have died as a consequence of the rise of totalitarian governments and the wars they create? And then you've got people like Bill Gates. You got people like Dr. Doom Anthony Fauci, who are poisoning people with Jim Jones juice and so-called drugs and concoctions and things that are supposed to make people better and they make sick. Did you know that they're feeding that Bovier shit to cows that's supposed to make them fart less? Guess what? Cows are getting sick. Are you surprised? Know what else? The cows are refusing to eat that shit. Any food with that in it, they sniff it. They know that shit's making me feel sick. I ain't eating it. Fucking cows know better. And to say that cows create methane gas is a fucking lie. Methane is a hydrocarbon. Methane is a hydrocarbon. You know, like oil is a hydrocarbon, and gas is a hydrocarbon, and diesel is a hydrocarbon. Natural gas, liquid petroleum, they're hydrocarbons. Plants grab carbon out of the air and grow the plant. They combine it with water, hydrogen and oxygen to make hydrocarbons. Plants are hydrocarbons. And those hydrocarbons are locked into the plant until what? Until the plant dies, falls over, and the plant releases carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, hydrocarbons. All the cow does is eat the grass, digest it, turn the useful energy into what we call meat, steaks, hamburger, ribs. And the cow farts a little bit. Of course, it's fucking methane. Right? The natural of order things is grass eats the carbon, cows eat the grass, we eat the cows, man farts a lot. He's always right. Anyways, that's where we're at, right? But check things out. I take devil's advocate position, but I try and be honest. And if I'm going to take another position I don't agree with 100%, right? I'll still argue it out just to see if it has merit. And yeah, Uman and I talk quite a bit. He's probably the guy I talk with the most, which is fine. He's a good guy. Very smart. Critical thinking, common sense, right? Inductive and deductive reasoning, avoiding logical fallacies. Everything there is about thinking and using your mind, the prepared mind is going to have you ready with the items you need. Food, water, shelter, clothing, right? Those are items you need, but it's here. If you don't see what's going on in the world, if you don't have a good grasp of what's happening, when shit gets nasty, do you know what to do? Will you have your plan? Will you realize and understand who the enemy is so they can't hurt you further? And if you're going to stand up, if you're going to take a stand for America, know that you're taking a stand properly for the right reasons, not for vindictive vengeance, but because you're serving justice properly. All right, enough of me. Jolene, who's up next? What do we got? We've got a $5 PayPal from Steve. He says, what a time to be alive. This is history, folks. This is history. Some people observe history. Other people live history, and we're doing it. I can't tell you how many times back in the 1990s when I was a young man, my friends from high school that I found again, and we hung out and did four-wheel drive, stuff young men do. They kept saying, man, I was born in the wrong century. I should have been born in the Old West. That would have been great. A lot of people, of course, say, I wish I had been alive during the American Revolution. Really? Would you like that? Would you like it? The country occupied by who are supposed to be your allies, the British, who are burning businesses and farms, raping women, stealing people's money, locking them in prison, denying them due process, making up bullshit in court, false prosecutions, false arrests, false jail time, absolute destruction, plus didn't have good toilet paper. No good toilet paper. No hot showers. No. Itchy wool clothing. You sure you want to be alive during the American Revolution? Well, guess what? Now is just as good a time to be alive. It's not the Old West. It's not the Revolution. But it is one hell of a time to be alive as we defend our republic. And we have toilet paper. And we have hot showers, at least for now. But we have our chance, our time in history to stand up for what is right. Freedom, liberty, truth, justice, morality, decency. And we can see our enemy, who they are. They are evil Democrats who want to kill babies, who want children to cut their genitals off, who want to groom children as their own sexual toys, who want to invite drag queens into classrooms to read stories to children, who want pedophilia normalized, who want foreigners to come to this country and rape girls and women. And they want boys to pretend to be women and take women's sports and take away their academic scholarships and completely destroy morality and decency and common fucking sense. It is a time to be alive. Thank you, Steve. Jolene, who's up next? We've got Old School Fringe. He says, evening. Evening, all been trying to prepare for the future of my children. What does that look like? That's a great school. It's a great question, Old School Fringe. Old School Fringe. I got to calm it down here. I may need another scotch here. Our futures are not certain. We can have an America that is free, where you can once again not lock your doors on your house at night. Folks, I left my keys in the fucking ignition where I lived at in California. You could leave your vehicle running and go into the store. Up until about 10 years ago. And then it started getting stupid. The fucking crackheads and meth heads started coming. The future is ours to decide, you and me. If you want to do nothing and not say a word to Washington, D.C., they will let Washington, D.C. succumb to cancer. Our republic will be destroyed, and life will become a living hell. America will become a third world shithole, like England has allowed itself to become, like France is becoming, and Germany is becoming. Or we can stand firm, like Hungary. Yeah, Hungary. Poland is not allowing these scumbags in. Viktor Orban of Hungary, he's like, no, I'm not doing it. You, European Union, you can fuck off. We're not going to invite the destruction of our country socially, morally, religiously with these scumbags, these jihadis, jihad Joes that are going to come in. America, we can fix that. We can put an end to the Alana Jayapals and the Ilhan Omars and the AOCs and the jihad squad. We can put an end to it. We can stop it nationally, at the state level, and at the local level. A mosque is not a church. A mosque is an indoctrination center where they teach their people to hate anyone who isn't part of their cult. They want to have call to prayer, and every stinking jihad Joe is going to run into the middle of the street and start praying in the middle of the fucking street and stopping traffic. Is that the world you want to live in, old school fringe? No. So you and I, all of us, need to do something about it. Prepare for the future by taking action right now. Right now. Right fucking now is when we take action. You can't do anything about yesterday. It's done. Tomorrow, well, you can't. You can plan for tomorrow, your future, but you take action today. It's Sunday evening. I get it. That's why we're here, Sunday evening. We're getting ready for the week. We're planning for our future, but not to just watch it happen, but to participate. And that's what I do. It's a call to action. Become an activist. Write, text, comment, phone call, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. That's what we do. I tell you, I've got a bunch of topics, but I know that we've got more super chats out there. Jolene, who's up next? And we've got Dan, the man, Erickson is back yet again with another $20 super chat donation. And he said, this is great. I don't know if you can put these words together. He said, if you had a smart Democrat, you would be thinking, who is our next presidential puppet for the 2028 election? From what I see, J.D. Vance will run on our side, the Republican side, probably. They have nobody left with any credibility to run. Oh, AOC is running around with what? Bernie Sanders, the fucking communist. The guy's a fucking communist, never had a real job. Just like Obama's never had a real job. Just like Schumer's never had a real job. They're fucking parasites. So what are they doing? It's not going to be AOC. It's not going to be him. It's not going to be Tampon Tim Waltz. He should be under arrest for stolen valor, for lying about his military service. You can't say you did anything in the military unless you actually did it and it's in your fucking SRB. There's shit that I can't tell anyone that I fucking did because there's no way to prove it. It's not in my SRB, service record book. There's a lot of shit that gets done that doesn't go in those fucking books. There's a lot of people that have been in combat. They don't have a fucking combat rhythm. There's a lot of people that have done a lot of shit for this country that no one ever gets to hear about. Tim Waltz should be arrested. Now, to get back to your question, Dan, Who's the next Democrat presidential puppet? Gavin Newsom of California. The sneering, greasy-haired freak of a human is trying to rebrand himself as a moderate. You see, the Democrats have run so far to the left that they're off the screen. They've disappeared. You can't even see them. They're fucking crazy. I laid out their party platform: kill babies, sterilize children, make children sex toys, open the border, give all of our money to foreign nationals, send all of our corporations out of the country so that our country goes broke. Make sure you drug all Americans with fentanyl, and be sure and jab them with the Jim Jones juice. Kill everyone you can. So Gavin Newsom is trying to get back on the screen and go, hey, I'm a moderate. That's who they got. They don't have anyone else. I mean, Gavin Newsom's a fucking failure extraordinaire. But he'll lie. The mainstream media will lie. Washington politicians will lie and make him into a fucking hero. Even though he is one of the worst fucking people on the planet. The son of a bitch let Greenville, Taylorsville, these are small cities in Northern California, burn to the fucking ground. He sent firefighters up into Oregon to help them with their fires, while historic cities and millions of acres of trees burned. Old growth forests. Beautiful national parks. Oh, and then there's what happened in Southern California, that burning. Not to mention opening the gates and letting every illegal in they could. Yep, there's no one left with real credibility, folks. It's now just sound bites and bullshit. It's fucking lies. Unless we win our country back. Who's next, Jolene? What do we want to talk about? What's on the board? And we've got bump Robin G with a $50 super chat donation. And you know what? $50 means I get a scotch. Thank you, Robin G, for the great support on Sunday Night Live at the zoo, as well as Monday through Friday. She's here. And you all can be here Monday through Friday, folks. Monday through Friday in the afternoon, 4:30 Eastern time. We go over everything on a daily basis. But it's Sunday Night Live right now where we get it on. Like mother's milk. She said, my question's on X, and here it is. The elites own about 80 to 90% of the stock market. True. Banks lend the elites money to grow their businesses. True. In turn, they make a lot of money from banks' money and contribute thousands and millions in stocks. Yes. They watch their accounts grow astronomically. Yeah, they do. With all of this money that government gives them and the Federal Reserve gives them, right? The rest of us are doing good to contribute $100 or maybe $200 a month. We will never keep up. We just sit here getting further behind. Maybe we all start a business with bank lent money and play some catch up. What are your suggestions on us keeping up? We cannot keep up with this game. The banks will never give us free money. They will never lend us money at 4%, and you will not be able to take that money and lend it out at 16%, 20%, 25%, 32%. See, that's what the banks do. Banks get money for next to nothing, and they lend it to us, the little people. They spread it all out amongst us little people and charge us huge amounts of interest. Or they take the money that they get loaned at 4% interest, say, they send it to Wall Street where they make 10, 15, 20% a year. And they pump up all the stocks. But you and I won't ever become banks. And we won't get free money. My suggestion is that we do what we're doing right now. And we pressure the government to fix the fucking problems. We have a monetary crisis. The dollar is about to be hammered into the ground. It's dropping. They've had this strong dollar, strong dollar, strong dollar. Trump is trying to weaken it. Only weaken it relative to all the other currencies. The yen, the yuan, the ruble, the rupee, the euro, the franc, the Deutschmark. There's really no more Deutschmarks, but there are francs. Right? All the other currencies out there. Australian dollars, Canadian dollars, British pound. The dollar is falling in purchasing power, but Trump needs that. He needs a weaker dollar to make U.S. goods more affordable. Okay. We're having currency problems. We have economic problems. And we have financing problems. That's the banks. What you and I need, Robin and all of us, is we need a currency reset. Right now, the currency is inflationary, and we can't keep up. We're being hurt. We're in big trouble. We can't keep up. Right where I'm at in Florida, Florida is just as expensive as fucking California now. Right? I was thinking by the time I got to the South and then I came down to Florida that everything would be, a lot easier. It's not. Right? Inflation hurt everybody. The cost of living is hurting everybody. The dollar isn't a real dollar now. The dollar used to be backed by gold. We're now looking at a potential monetary reset, a revaluation of U.S. assets, which includes supposedly 8,133 ounces of gold. Gold is going through the roof. Silver is going to go through the roof, as it always chases after gold. The gold is like the great sprinter at the track, and silver is like the dog that wants to chase him. Takes a little bit, he figures it out. But the suggestions is we need to tell the government, fix the money problem. Right? Tariffs, great. Lower our taxes. The government needs to stop spending money that we don't have. Stop spending money and putting us on the hook for it. Trump is a big spender. It needs to stop. The you said money needs to stop. The foreign aid needs to stop. Giving money to Israel, Ukraine, England, Europe, it needs to fucking stop. We need to get our money out of other countries, which is what Trump is doing with the tariffs. Those are some of the things we can do. Thank you very much, Mr. Uman. Appreciate that. It needs to be fixed. It does. It needs to be fixed. And Trump knows it. And hopefully he actually does what he's supposed to and what he says. But it's going to be hard fucking times, Robin. Nothing is easy, which is why we're prepared. If you've got 3 months of food, 6 months of food, a year's worth of food, how far will that go to helping you if hard times befall us? But my suggestion is the same suggestion I've had for weeks, months, and even years now, which is pressure government to do what you think is right. Get these illegals out of here. Stop giving them money. Throw them the fuck out. Arrest the traitors. Arrest the criminals. Arrest the bureaucrats. Get rid of bureaucracy. We don't fucking need it all. We don't need 150,000 IRS agents. It's all computerized now. The other day, I hit a button. My taxes went off. Poof. I was like, wow, that was fast. Their computer should be able to read it. Right? We've got a lot. The suggestions on us keeping up, plan ahead. Be prepared. Store lots of food. Understand what's going on. Take your money. This is not advice. This is what I did. I don't keep money in the bank. I keep just enough in to keep the lights on in the bunker and pay down my credit card, which I use to buy food. I buy a little food on the credit card and I pay off the credit card. And then I buy food on the credit card. I pay it off. I don't go in debt. And anytime I had any money, I would buy these. Silver, 1 ounce rounds, silver eagles, whatever. That's how I'm going to keep up. If they revalue gold or revalue silver then it's going to be valued much higher, right? It has to be much more valuable. It is much more rare than they say. That is a way to store wealth. And I'm going to use the word invest in a light term. This is not investment advice, but it's what I do, what I have done. I haven't bought silver in fucking years. I wish I could buy some, but that's what I would do. SD bullion right here. This is where I recommend you go and use this link, use this address, Silver Stacker. See if we can get you a discount. They run specials, but still, folks, we are behind the 8 ball, you and I. Trump is in office. We won the election. Look at how difficult things are. The leftists are becoming violent. That piece of shit governor in Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, as far as I'm concerned, he's a Democrat sycophant and he's a DNC lover. Well, he and his family have been evacuated from the governor's mansion. Why? Because it was set on fire by an arsonist. Folks, the communist Democrats are going to attack their own. They're going to attack everybody, anybody. Take note. The violence is coming. That's how we're all going to stay ahead of that, by staying aware, being prepared, understanding they can't keep the system, Robin. They can't keep the system going forever. This fake money, fiat, plastic banana bullshit, Persian bazaar currency they have, the US dollar has lost its value. China's getting rid of its T-bills. Japan's going to get rid of its T-bills. Russia, if they're ever giving back their T-bills, are just going to fucking throw them away. Trade them for something more useful. The U.S. world reserve currency, the dollar, is in big fucking trouble. Trump is going to try and defend it. But the dollar, like our judicial system, has been weaponized. You don't force trading partners. You cooperate with trading partners. Our trading partners have been fucking us over. But just because you don't like someone's politics, right, does that mean you punish them financially? Well, that's how you start a fucking fight. The U.S. is the big kid on the block still, even though Russia has plenty of nuclear weapons to incinerate the whole planet. We've got hard times coming. Hard times coming. Well, by the way, Iran says, look, if you want no war in the Middle East, then take everyone's nuclear capability away. You can take all of our nuclear shit as long as you go take all of Israel's nuclear shit. You think Israel is going to give up their nukes, folks, that they actually say they don't have and the world says they don't have, but everyone knows that they have? We know, they know that we know that they have nukes in Israel. In fact, that nuclear weapons technology was provided to them shortly after JFK had his head ventilated with a high-speed piece of lead. Yeah, his brains were smeared all over the fucking Lincoln that he was driving in with his wife. And then Israel became a nuclear power. How fucking interesting is that? What an interesting coincidence. All right. We're running out of time. Holy cow, we're past the 2-hour mark. Jolene, we got Carport Carl checking in with a $1 super chat. And he says, this weekend live should be 2,500 viewers. It should be. And maybe it will be by the time we're all done this evening. Because people come on, people go, people pause, people stop, people come back later. Thank you, Carport Carl. I really appreciate that. We have had one heck of a show, folks. This week, it's coming. It is on. It is hit the fan. Jolene, who's next? Boomer, and he's back. He loves to do $20 every week. Thank you, Boomer, again. He says, after 1,000 years, they gave up to England without one single shot being fired just over the last 15 years. Now it's even considered a hate crime to say, speak English there. Yeah. This weekend, an old man told a foreign fuckhead in England, hey, speak English. They called the police. The police showed up and says, that's a hate crime. saying you love England in England is now a crime because it makes Jihad Joe, it makes the violent Muslim terrorists uncomfortable while they run around and say death to England. Let's go rape some little white girls and let's cut off the heads of men. I believe in America, Boomer, some Jihad Joe cut a man's head off with a knife and was kicking it around like a soccer ball in a park. The police showed up and didn't know what to fucking make of that. They freaked out. I think they arrested the guy, but it's getting stupid. Get prepared. Get prepared, folks. Democrat discount Obama, Hakeem Jeffries, he called Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth a, quote, dumb effing individual. And then he vowed, he vowed to have him fired. Really, folks, really. If Pete isn't a criminal and Hakeem tries anything illegal, can Pete have military police arrest Hakeem under the Uniform Code of Military Justice for getting involved in military affairs and trying to fuck with Pete Hegseth? Hakeem Jeffries has no authority over the military. None whatsoever. As an individual, discount Obama in Congress. Crazy days, folks. Crazy days ahead. And it's not going to just go away. It isn't just going to go away. I want to thank Jolene, who's been with me for years. She's put up with my ups, my downs, the good times, and the SHTF times. Thank you, Jolene. Mr. Uman, he has also put up with all of my shit. And he's nursed me along and doctored me through all of my errors so I can understand that he's always right. He's always right. Anyways, I love them. I love all of you. Thank you to everyone who supported the show with your super chats and your questions. It's just a social media show, The Prepared Mind. But the topics are real. And you are real Americans. And we are in real deep shit. So get prepared. And always, folks, remember that chance favors the prepared mind is yours. I'll be back 0 dark 30 tomorrow morning. I'm going to go get a bite to eat. Going to hit the rack. And at some point in the middle of the night, the buzzer will go off and we start this bullshit again. Get prepared, folks. I'll see you soon.